Thokozani Bokoko, it is Sunday motivation with me, Coco Dineo. I love Sundays. They are beautiful days, relaxing days. After a beautiful week, we come and reflect on different topics, different ideas. Dineo, Coco Dineo, sharing her insights, her experiences, her lessons based on what she knows. It is not a prescription, it is not a definite, it is not the absolute truth, it is just my own experience. So we are outdoors and I love my cameraman. We've been going around looking for the best possible spot so that the lighting is good, because what matters really is you hearing me. So let us know if you are hearing us, if I'm good and I'm audible enough. I've tried to pick up the volume because I'm outdoors and there's wind that goes on. Yeah, so I've got a few things that people, ask me to cover, and some of it is my patients who sends us messages and say, can Gogo please address this topic? And this is the best way where I can answer your questions, is through doing Motivation Sunday, because that way I am also reaching to those who've got a similar question to you, and it cuts on time of me spending time and responding to individual DMs, because that actually umsebenzi wasendumbeni. Mine, the Instagram stories, the Instagram TV work, the YouTube work is public masses. So if you ask me something that's as a topic, then I can be able to cover it. So what am I talking about today? As I posted, and the inspiration also comes from some G's wedding. It was a beautiful ceremony. Some of us now feel like, I want to have a white wedding. I was never fascinated about such, I don't know if it was a cut in the moment. I'm not sure now. I was reflecting like, from Mushata. But anyway, I had my moment of a white wedding with my partner. So today we want to speak about how to navigate complex, or what is being perceived as complex relationships if umntwana wehlozi. So if umntwana wabaphansi, and we need to understand we are all ancestral children, but it's more importantly for those who've got callings and they're trying to figure it out, because they want to be in honor of their gifts as healers, but they also want to be in honor of their personal needs as human beings. Firstly, there's a saying that says ngesiZulu, inhliziyo ayiphakelwa, kaSotho bari impilu ijasirati. That means that the heart chooses whom the heart falls for. So as much as we as society, we can define perfect relationships and ideal relationships, but the heart seeks for whom it seeks. The heart falls for whom it falls. So once the heart it's fallen, it has fallen, then we need to navigate the complexities of what is perceivingly or seemingly not appearing to be an ideal relationship that conforms to society and that conforms to things. I know I'm currently in a relationship that doesn't conform to a lot of things, and I'm also navigating how not to conform, and I'm navigating how not to conform with certain things that I bring into the relationship. So relationships on their own, they're quite complex, but the heart loves and the heart chooses whom to love. So we cannot then want to dictate based on what we think is an ideal or perfect relationship. Whether that's a heterosexual relationship, that means that if umuntu othwasile fanele uthandane nendoda mawumfazi or umfazi mawuyindoda. Not really, because remember, the essence of who we are is spirit. So we are spiritual beings having a human experience, and at spirit level, then who are we? We are powerful co-creators of our own experiences. We are connected to the divine source, to energy, to umbelingani, to unkulunkulu. So as human beings who are having as spiritual beings who are having a human experience, meaning that then we've got guides, we've got spiritual people, we've got spiritual guides that helps us navigate this body or this human experience that we are having as spiritual beings. So laba bantu is your angels and your ancestors, and I define those two things differently, and maybe one day I can do a stream out explaining what is the difference between ingelosi nabaphansi or amadlozi. But today it's about relationships. So if you are then called to become a healer, or you are umntwana wehlozi, like I said earlier on, we all are, but if you feel like, how do I then navigate? I want to start with quite some few ones. Polygamy. Somebody asked me that, Gogo, who started polygamy and where did it start? I don't have the historical facts to back up my data or what I'm going to say right now, but from what I learned when I studied African studies is that Polygamy was a whole aspect of adding value into a relationship. Polygamy was never about just meeting an individual need, but it was about meeting a collective need. So when you come together as a couple, you formulate what we call a family, and the family is going to add value as well to to a community, and the community adds value to the society. Society becomes a nation, so forth and so forth. So whenever there was an issue of adding another partner into a relationship, it was something that was collectively decided within the family structure, and in most cases it was a woman's idea, because also when it started back in the day, I'm sure in the 18 something or in the I think in the 18 something, when polygamy started, because there are few principles that one also has to really adhere to when they enter into a polygamous relationship. The basic one is, what is the need? What is the value add of a partner that is coming into the life of a current system that exists, the two couples that exist? That has to be formulated. As well as that, when we speak about that, the woman who is already in that relationship with the other man has to agree. So polygamous relationships don't work if it's just a man's need, because I just want somebody else, or because, you know, if it's the two of you, then I won't be able to be focusing on stressing on you so much. That's not a strong basis. One of the bases that is strong is that when back in the day, because when families were wealthy, because polygamy was also not for everyone, it was for particular people, those who had resources to support and extend it and an expansion of a family, because the need in most cases was, we need to extend and expand the family because we worked in the land that we lived in, we cultivated it, we did things for ourselves. So it was for we have a big piece of land, we've got many number of cattle, we've got X and X, so we need to expand the family, and one woman cannot bear 100 children to take care of a 1,000,000 hectare piece of land. I'm just exaggerating the hectares here. So therefore the woman will say, you know what, I'm enough, I can't do this, I feel we need to add somebody else into the picture. That woman who comes into the picture as well understand that they need to adhere to the principles and ways of being of that particular family. So you can't be that Nisangoma Bese Solanda, somebody who has a totally different belief system to us, because it might be contradicting belief systems, because as a Sangoma there's ways in which we carry ourselves in our family system that might be an opposite to another belief system. So they're coming in understanding that they're coming to add value, not replace the other woman, not take over the other woman, but a woman also has a very important say in whom their partner is bringing. The woman has to bless their partner to say it is okay, then it's fine. And I think one of the most common thing right now could be if partners want a baby and they can have a child, and then that could be, and I know people say there's a lot of options, but remember, you cannot live by what society says, each stroke for each folk. So whatever that suits your relationship, you can decide. If the woman agrees and the man is into it, it will work, but there's a lot of things that goes into it, and maybe one day I'll cover a whole range around polygamy and what can work and not work. And who knows, maybe once I'm in a polygamous rule, because I am pro polygamy, where I come from, I did advocate for my husband to take a second wife. They were not for it, because there's also, like I said, there has to be enough resources. So you cannot go take on another wife but you haven't finished marrying the other one, the rituals have not been performed, and there's things that need to happen. So you can't do it as an excuse of adding another person in your life so that when Dino stresses you, then you can go to Balesa, because that's not going to work. It's going to mess things up. The other thing that I was asked, interracial relationships for people who are called or who are sangomas, how does that work? If in our essence we are spirit, all of us as human beings, and if in our essence, so as human beings, in our essence as human beings we are spirit, and at spirit level there's no gender, there's no color, there's no age. It is what it is. It's creator energy that exists in spirit level. So it means when things manifest in the physical body. And I also believe that people are brought into your life because you as spirit, you said, I want this particular person in my life, either as a soulmate, either as a life partner, either as a kindred spirit, And what is soulmate quickly? Soulmate is a mate that has been brought into your life to help you awaken to your highest call while you are here. The soulmates are not meant to be a lifetime. A life partner is somebody whom you carry through a lifetime. And a kindred spirit is the one whom comes when needed, when you are going through a tough time or you're needing to make a big decision. So that's another topic on their own. So let me know if you want me to cover that. Remember, I'm just speaking about how do you navigate it. So is there a problem if you are a black person and you're dating somebody out of your race, unamandlozi no ways. Because also, I believe that your ancestors, when they allow something in your life, and our ancestors, by the way, they're not, all these isms and schisms that we carry as a physical being, they don't exist as much in the spiritual world. Not that they're not conscious and aware of what's going on, because some of them died because of those isms and schisms. So there might be some pains that are carried in pathologies and in our energy force, because my ancestor was killed during apartheid, or my ancestor was killed during slavery. But it doesn't mean that they hold certain things hostage, because once the spirit connects to divinity, it means it is a peace, right? So there are things, but the person, when you go into it, they also need to understand what umuntu wedlozi, because sometimes cultural differences might create misunderstandings and tensions in relationships that might not make relationship flourish. So I'm not insane, I'm not unstable, this is how it works. As long as your partner is willing to learn and is willing to find out, because that's what also relationships are about. Religious right, so you can make it work. Again, is let your partner know what they're coming into. Even when you have two different faiths, it can work. Let your partner know, because all those faiths that we have, or religions or cultural belief systems, at the core of it, we are all wanting to connect something bigger outside of ourselves. We wanting to connect to some energy of creation. We want connection, we want groundedness, we want rootedness, and the parts in which we do that are different. It does not mean that the other one is better than the other. If you're Christian and you are wanting to marry a Sangoma, there's nothing wrong. You just need to find, because all those things actually, they speak to each other. Topic for another day. Last one, when you are in umuntu, can you also have same-sex relationships? Of course you can. Like I said, at spirit level, those things don't those discriminations and things don't, because if abanye, they would say actually it's also what their ancestors are guiding it. But I also say, be careful, don't use who you are because you're afraid to own yourself, so you're gonna use it close with me. Because I work with very masculine ancestors, and I'm heterosexual. So if ever I say, good, I am bi or I'm that, some things would be of choice. Some people are born that way biologically, chemistry wise, is that one hormone is higher than the other, even though the physical anatomy says that they're male, but they might not have high testosterone. There's a lot of things that go behind different types of sexual orientation that we can make assumptions about it. Sex and dating, when you are a Sangoma, sex is a very powerful thing. It's a creator thing, because when you come together, sex is spirituality expanded, energy exchanged. So when you are a person like me, you of course don't go around sleeping with everyone you are dating, because you are then a sponge and you're absorbing. Even if you're not a Sangoma, you don't just want to take everybody's energy and put it your way. That's why it looks like when we people of Ubungoma, sex is restricted. It's because it is trying to gut yourself against energies in which are not going to be serving you, energies that might be sucking you, vampire energy. I've said this before. You can go on my YouTube channel. There is one where I've spoken about soulmates. If you want me to do part 2, I am happy to do part 2, because we always need to revisit these topics, even though we've done them before, because things are always evolving, things are always changing. They never remain the same. The only thing constant is change. Thokozani, please send me comments, suggestions on what is it that you love me to cover. If I can't cover it, it means I don't have the topic yet, or I don't know what to say, because this is my own experiences that I'm sharing. These are not facts, these are not absolute truths. It's just Coco Dino's experiences. And yeah, love and light. Thank you for tuning in. Till next time. Mwah.